Torbran, Thane of Redfell versus Estrid the Masked. I think we can keep there. We've got plenty of mana and a few 1-drops. And we can beat some fast mana from our opponent with a Vandal Blast. Wouldn't have thought they'd be running too many rocks in an Estrid deck. Probably going to be running the auras that go on lands in this. So let's just get down our Spear Spewer. That can start lightning bolting our opponent on every single turn once we get our commander into play. And we get into our 4th land, so let's just ping our opponent first of all. And then we'll go in for this Circle of Flame. I think I'm actually going to cut Circle of Flame. I thought I'd get more use out of it than I actually have. We want to burn our opponent before a huge army of tokens comes into play. This was supposed to be a defense against huge armies swinging in at us, but we actually want to win the game before that occurs. Alright, they just went for the cycling on that. We have a 3-drop to make now, so that's really good. Repercussion. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to the creature's controller. So it's not as crucial that we point our burn straight at our opponent's head. We could burn our opponent's creatures to keep them out of play. And then Repercussion will deal more damage. And it actually goes very well with Blasphemous Act as well. If we can get a Blasphemous Act off and deal 13 damage to a few creatures, then that will be 13 damage to our opponent per creature that Blasphemous Act hits. Problem is it'll deal that much damage to us as well. Let's grab ourselves a Torbran, and they are going for those auras that go on the lands. They get an Investigate, which it looks like they've cracked, and then the land taps for 2 mana of any one colour. We'll just bolt our opponent here. That is dealing damage to us as well, but it only deals 1 damage to us and 3 damage to our opponent in this instance. A Treachery from our opponent. We are not very likely to deal with a Treachery, so I suppose it's just fingers crossed that our opponent gets into a lot of tokens in play now. Followed by our opponent's commander. They can untap Enchanted Permanents, and that will untap their land for access to an extra 2 mana. What's the limit break on this? Put the top 7 cards of your library into the graveyard and return all non-aura enchantments to the battlefield, and then you do the same for auras. So enchantments come in first, and then enchantment auras come in second. Then just deciding to pass the turn, we've got a lot more mana available to us with an Ancient Tomb. How far away are we from Balefire Dragon? We've got 6 mana there, so just 1 mana away. Let's just drop our Magus of the Wheel. Now the problem is, if we go for Blasphemous Act, we're going to have to tap down Ancient Tomb to do it, and that will mean that it'll be 26 damage dealt to us, and we'll lose. So I'm actually not going to go for Spear Spewer here. If our opponent gets some creatures down, it might make Blasphemous Act cheap enough for us to cast. But I don't know how many creatures an Estrid deck runs. There's nothing to stop us doing the Spear Spewer at the end of our opponent's turn anyway. A Wild Growth onto one of our opponent's lands. They're putting that on the bounce land, so that will tap for 3 mana now. Problem is, you can easily wasteland this thing, but it does mean that they can untap that and generate lots of mana. Going for another one onto the basic. Yeah, Strip Mine isn't legal in 1 versus 1, so you do have to play around wastelands. Then going for Open the Armory. Not seeing more creatures. I'd actually quite like my opponent to steal one of our creatures here, so that we can go for this Blasphemous Act play. They go for Lay Claim, which is a 7 mana enchantment. You control the enchanted permanent, and they're just deciding to cycle that. So it looks like they're setting up for the ultimate on their commander. Then they're going to untap a bunch of lands, so they've got access to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana here. If they were going to do that, they could have just cast the Lay Claim. We'll see what they wanted to do instead, though. Okay, take possession. That actually sets us up nicely. I think we can go for Blasphemous Act next turn in that case. And our opponent's tapped out now as well, which is even better. So at the end of the turn, how much is Blasphemous Act going to cost? I think it's going to cost 6, isn't it? 6, 7, 8, 9, yes. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, I think we can go for that next turn. Let's go for a ping with the Spear Spewer. And then, yeah, let's just go for the Blasphemous Act play. 13 damage to everything. This will deal 13 damage to a player per creature that was dealt 13 damage. And Repercussion gets us out of a sticky situation there. We dealt 13 damage to 2 of our opponent's creatures, dealing them 26. We dealt ourselves 13, but thanks to our opponent stealing our creature away, they actually helped us out tremendously there and gave us another target to burn down, and at the same time took a target away from us, which saved us some life. So I hope you all enjoyed that little interaction. That was quite a quick one, so you're probably getting another game here, as with, well, probably all the Torbran decks that I release. There's probably going to be 2 games in one video, so look forward to that. Okay, as I just mentioned, getting straight into another game versus Karador, Ghost Chieftain. We've got an excellent hand there, so we're definitely keeping that. That is a turn 2 Torbran. Just a brush land from our opponent. There's nothing for us to do with the Mana Crypt now, so we'll surprise our opponent with it. They just go in for the bounce land and return a land back to hand. So let's just go in for a Mana Crypt and hope our opponent doesn't scoop it. Oh, actually, it's not a turn 2 Torbran, is it? I forgot about the 3 mana, the 3 red mana in that cost. So let's knock Summoning Sickness off of Chandra. This actually isn't the worst play anyway, because we can get the Summoning Sickness off of her next turn, go in for our commander, and then she will tap and Lightning Bolt something immediately, and then flip over immediately for some more burn. And then we've got card draw in hand as well, so we're looking pretty good here. Then going in for a tap land in Temple of Plenty, followed by Altar of Dementia. So just slowly setting up the mana here. Zozu the Punisher wouldn't be terrible to get down either, but we'll go for our commander, because Chandra is really going to pile on some damage here. Might as well ping our opponent before Torbran comes in, and then she'll untap in response to a red spell being cast. So she dealt 1 damage previously, now it will be 3, thanks to the 2 additional damage that Torbran has her deal. And then the +1 is 2 damage, +2 from Torbran equals 4. And we've already got our opponent down to 22 life. A Demonic Tutor from our opponent. They might just go for spot removal onto our commander here. Well, whatever it is that they're going for, they've decided to just pass the turn. Might be a Swords or a Path. First thing we'll do is plus Chandra. And they allowed that to hit. So that is the full 4 damage that we can deal with her. Let's go in for Zozu the Punisher. That's going to be 4 damage as well whenever our opponent has a land enter. And it's 2 damage to us whenever we have a land enter. Are we going to cast Combustible Gearhulk or not? In fact, let's go for Thrill of Possibility and we'll get rid of the Electrickery. Let's draw 2 cards here. Alright, get into a Sol Ring. Don't mind casting that. So that means we shouldn't have any trouble getting into our commander again. Let's swing in with Torbran. Alright, and now going for the Swords to Plowshares. So we gain a little bit of life there. We're probably just recasting our commander next turn. But they took some extra damage that they didn't necessarily need to there. Although I suppose, had they not have taken the damage and gone for Swords to Plowshares in response, we could have just recast our Torbran. Sakura Tribe Elder is going to deal damage to our opponent when it goes for a land. extra planar lens is really, really good. We'll tap a land before we sacrifice it. And that's going to make our mountains tap for 2. And our opponent sees what's going on there and decide to scoop it up. We were just going to get into our Torbran again. And then we would have had 2 mana floating, maybe go for a Faithless Looting, which would have been draw 2 and discard 2. But it's not going to show us what we would have drawn into, unfortunately. Yeah, I think we had every chance of burning our opponent out there. They would have taken 2, assuming they sack the Sakura Tribe Elder in response to Torbran being cast. And then we would have dealt another 4 to them with the Chandra. Could have swung in with Zosu if Sakura Tribe Elder isn't in the way. And that would have been a further 4 points of damage, dealing 10 in total, taking them down to 7. Yeah, we probably had them there. So I feel alright about our opponent scooping it up. Hopefully you've all enjoyed these Torbran Thane of Redfell games. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.